Train the muscles, not the joints.
Welcome back to Natural Gallant Bodybuilding, and today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about heavy negatives. So somebody just asked me if doing heavy negatives is effective for building strength, but before I get into that, before I get into that, let's just squash something right now. It's kind of hilarious. Somebody just emailed me and said I should treat my cameraman better, and that somehow I should just stop with the negativity and get rid of my cameraman if I don't like him. Man, if you think that I'm being serious when I'm doing these skits, I just want to straighten something out here. I don't bury people up in the woods, and I'm not actually putting people up there. I'm not actually killing people, just so you know. I'm not actually burying them up in the woods. Actually, there's actually no such thing as like these goblins that live in the woods. At least I haven't seen any, if there is any at this point. All right, so yeah, that's my sense of humor. If you don't understand it, well, get on board. Or me and my cameraman, we joke around. We come up with these little skits sometimes. Sometimes he's a bartender, sometimes he's a poor abused cameraman, and sometimes he might be something else, you know. It's called jokes, man. It's called jokes. Get on board. If you're on this channel and you don't understand my sense of humor yet, boy, you're going to be in real trouble, because you're going to start taking some of the shit I'm doing really literally, and I wouldn't recommend that. But anyway, so that aside, I also had somebody say something really stupid. I didn't want to make this into a stupid comment Saturday, but I wanted to say one guy was trying to argue the fact that performance-enhanced bodybuilders have absolutely no advantage over natural bodybuilders. Natural bodybuilders can get just as big as the Mr. Olympia guys and the Ronnie Colemans and all this stuff. And I'm going to say that's about one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my life. And yeah, I don't think it's even worth making a video about, because everybody knows that that's just stupid. Like, I don't even know why somebody would be so ignorant or not understand. But the problem is, I don't care if somebody doesn't know, but when I tell them the truth, or when I actually answer their question or let them know what the truth is, then they get all mad and get all uppity because I let them know the truth. And it's almost like I told them there's no such thing as a tooth fairy or something like that, and then they just get all offended, all pissed off that, you know, everybody can be Mr. Olympia. Natural guys can get that big. It's like, listen, I competed for a long time at the highest level of natural bodybuilding, and not one real natural bodybuilder ever got close to the 280 pounds, 4% body fat thing. So if you're convinced that the Mr. Olympia IFBB guys are drug-free at the highest levels, I'm not saying there isn't some amateurs at the lower levels or whatever, or even at national level. There's some pretty big natural guys that get to national level, but there's no freaking way in the world you're going to convince me that there's natural guys in the Mr. Olympia stage that are 280 pounds, 5'8", no off season, and they just slim down to a svelte 230 at 4% body fat. Yeah, give me a break. But anyway, okay, I just wanted to squash those two things, because yeah, stupid comment, crazy email, and yeah, now let's talk about negatives, heavy negatives. Are heavy negatives a way that you can increase muscle mass gains and increase strength? I would say yes. But the problem is, like, say you could bench press 315 for one rep. Say you could bench press 315 for one rep, and then say you put on, 325 or 330 or 350 or whatever, and then you start doing a slow negative. There is a very real risk of injury or a tear or whatever, no matter how slow you lower that weight, because you're going beyond the capacity of what the body can lift. There is a very real risk with that. So if you are going to be doing heavy negatives, I would say you would do it only once in a while, because it is extremely hard on the joints, extremely hard on the tendons and the muscles, right? You're going to tear them up quite a bit. Now, can you get some benefit? Yeah, maybe you can. Just make sure you're putting the safety protocols in place, like having a spot, somebody to lift the weight positively for you off of your chest, all that kind of stuff, right? Because if you don't have that in place, you could be in real danger real quick. Now, why don't I do them? You never see me do them. I just started doing some heavy lockouts, where I'm just basically not necessarily locking out, but holding the weight in the extended position, like higher amounts of weight than I can actually lift for a natural rep. I just started doing that, and I think that can be also another way to trick the nervous system and to grow muscle mass and to also increase strength. But like I said, you have to err on the side of caution here and there, because if you do it too much, you may, tweak something, right? Because like I said, you're going beyond your capacity. Now, if I start doing 4 plates for negatives, I know for a fact it's very easy to pull something, tweak something, just something moves the wrong way, or that one day something's off. There's really not a lot of forgiveness when you're using that type of weight. when you're especially not strong enough to lift it. So I would not recommend it as a standard principle. What I normally recommend is what I teach basically is the higher frequency training, moderate rep ranges, sometimes high reps, sometimes low reps, but not super low. Like when you're doing heavy negatives, you're doing less than 1 rep. You're doing 120% of your maximum in a lot of cases. You're not just doing 100%. But here's another way to do it. If you're doing 95% of your maximum and you're just doing slow negatives, because you're using heavy weight and you're always controlling that negative part of the rep, there can be some argument for some results from that. There is a possibility that you can get some results, and that might be something to try. But again, make sure you're really warmed up and make sure that you have done a lot of stretching and whatever it is you need to do to make sure everything's moving properly before you start venturing into that realm. So yeah, my point is that there are risks involved once you start lifting like that. Are the risks worth it or not? It's going to be dependent on your own personal situation. But for myself, I don't do that. I find it's just too risky, and it doesn't necessarily give the benefit, or it doesn't necessarily give the reward that is worth the risk, you know what I'm saying? So, and honestly, I will tell you how I got the majority of my results was not through that method. So that proves that you don't necessarily need to use that method in order to gain muscle or strength or bodybuilding mass. So anyway, I hope this helped in your training. Thanks a lot for watching. If you need to get a hold of me, just go to naturalgallantbodybuilding.com, and thanks to the patient supporters, and take care for now. Mountain. Oh, sorry, that's the mountain. That's the mountain. That's where it is. There you go. I got mixed up there.